Hey there. So you wanted to know the top three things that come to my mind when I think of things that hold kids back when training for athletics. Specifically talking about youth athletes. I've worked with kids that are in the adolescent developmental stages for the last 9 years, 10 years. So I think that that's a unique time period in their process of development, and there's some things to consider. Um, so it's definitely complicated training for the kids because it's never one workout fits all. But I'll give you my top three. They're not in any particular order because they may impact different sports, differently. So I can't make a general statement about every sport. So I'll just say what I see the most. Number one that comes to mind is too much heavy lifting. And I will start off by saying that I absolutely value strength in a training program. It's really key. It's one of the most key things, systemic strength. But when I think of strength in terms of athletic performance, I don't think of it in terms of being a power lifter. All right, so when I think of strength, I think, all right, for that sport, we need an adequate amount of strength to be able to develop power and increase power production and to increase athleticism. So those are the two priorities usually. So that strength is an important building block and a critical component of that. But what I see is that this overwhelming obsession with max efforts, max efforts, max efforts, and it's like, first of all, there's a huge cost to those kind of lifting days. So within a program, there's a huge cost to that. So you get a huge neurological hit. So you got a lot of neurological fatigue. So you get short-term decoordination of the body. You have short-term loss of joint range of motion and joint mobility. So not that you can't do those heavy lifting days, but you have to consider that in your program and know that if you have a speed day that you wanted to do that's right after one of your heavy lifting days, you are not going to do anything to increase your speed that day. You might have a speed day like on the paper, but nothing is happening that day that is going to increase your ability to produce speed. Your body's too out of whack. So it needs to be carefully crafted in your program. And if strength is a huge priority and absolute strength is a huge priority in your sport, then you need to consider the costs. You need to build in stuff into your program that's going to combat the mobility issues, and you're going to need to structure your power development days on days maybe with your heavy lifting so that all of that happens on the same day. But so that there's a lot that goes into it, but that's what I see. Um, you know, just too much emphasis on heavy lifting, not enough emphasis on athleticism and power production. So number two is I see a lot of kids doing general workouts, general fitness workouts, and in my experience, most kids need training that's going to yield very specific results. So when we do an assessment, we're going to uncover certain things about the child that need attention. All right, so when you do a general workout, like a group workout, group workouts come to mind because there's not enough individual attention and interventions that there are just not enough coaches to go around to teach at that level. So that becomes problematic because if you want specific, you can't get specific results with the general fitness days. Now, general fitness days are a good part of any program. Increase your capacity, work on your energy system, efficiency, and just it's sometimes it's good to foster recovery on more moderate days. So that stuff is all important, but you're not gonna really move the needle on specific metrics in a general workout. And so kids think that, okay, I'm doing my workouts, but they never really get any better. They might be able to do a little bit more, but they never really change what they can do. So that's common. And then the third thing that comes to mind is nutrition. And normally I see a lot of kids that aren't getting enough calories. So they're not eating they're not meeting not meeting their energy needs to support their activity. So sports that come to mind: soccer, swimming, things that are high energy sports, cross country running. And then on the other side of it is smaller kids that want to gain size, want to gain lean muscle. You can't do that when you're in a caloric deficit. You're not going to build lean muscle. You're not going to build muscle. And you're more likely to get injured. So when you're in a deficit, your body's most likely going to use protein as an energy source, which is not a good thing. So you're going to be chewing up muscle and chewing up lean tissue to try to meet your caloric needs for the day. And so just getting a little bit more carbohydrates, understanding how much is enough. They're in a growth. You got to remember they're in a growth phase because they're adolescents, so their bodies are growing. They need more. They're in a metabolically active state all the time. They have to meet the demands of the sport. They have to meet the demands of the training. So that's a lot, and it's typically more than kids know how to eat or even know that they should be eating. So those are the three things. So I hope that helps you. If you want more information on that, or want to bring your child in, just send me another message, and we'll hook up and I'll help you out. All right. So I hope this video was helpful, and I'll be looking forward to your questions.